Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm with my friend Stan Blair. You probably remembered a couple of his other vehicles that I uploaded in the past, like the 2015 Cadillac CTS-V Coupe and the 2014 Corvette Stingray. So Stan, what are we up to today?
Well, Kyle, recently I just took delivery on this 2015 Z06 Corvette. It's my dream car. I love it to death. I want to thank Adam Parks at Parks Chevrolet, and Kyle, I want to thank you for coming out and doing a video on it.
I appreciate it. As always, guys, this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the all-new Corvette Z06. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, take it on a brief drive, and show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let it run. One neat convenience feature with the convertible is the fact that you can lower the soft top with just the remote fob. It's pretty cool to watch too. The soft top is wrapped in premium cloth. It's nice and thick with extra sound deadening, so the interior is relatively quiet for what it is. You have a glass rear window with a rear window defroster, and the top itself is available in 4 different colors. It can be operated at speeds up to 30 miles an hour, and everything stows nicely beneath that tonneau cover. As long as you have the key fob with you, you don't actually have to press it to unlock the door. There's a proximity sensor that'll detect it, so when you grab the handle, it automatically unlocks the vehicle. This example is finished in Laguna Blue tint coat and comes paired with a premium perforated Kalahari leather interior with heated and ventilated seats and color accented across the doors, dash, center console, not to mention accent stitching with a unique color theme specific to the Z06. In order to start the vehicle, make sure you have the key fob within the interior, put your foot on the brake and clutch, and hit the dash mounted button to go. For 2015, the Z06 features an electrically assisted variable ratio speed proportional power steering system that's 5 times stiffer than the previous hydraulic setup. The feedback feels improved along with the overall sensitivity. It's agile, responsive, smooth, and delivers greater steering feel thanks to a 150% increase in column stiffness and a 600% increase in intermediate shaft torsional stiffness. The steering gear is now mounted to the front aluminum cradle structure. It features a ratio between 12 and 16.4, varying depending on which drive mode you have set. It takes 2.53 turns to lock and has a 37.7 foot turning radius. The multifunction 3-spoke wheel itself is smaller than before, measuring 14.1 inches in diameter, and has a unique flat bottom design with the genuine matte finished carbon fiber and Z06 logo. In addition to color accent cross stitching, grip bolsters at 10 and 2, and genuine brushed aluminum trim. The Z06 delivers its supercharged power to the rear wheels via your choice of 2 available transmissions and a standard electronic limited slip differential. This beefy Tremec 7-speed manual with active rev matching is standard equipment as it is on the Stingray. On the other hand, also new for the Stingray is an optional Hydromatic 8L90 8-speed automatic that promises a level of performance comparable to a dual-clutch transmission, along with bringing quicker acceleration times and improved efficiency over the Corvette's previously offered 6-speed auto. Labeled Rev Match, these are the same paddles that would otherwise allow you to shift the car manually when equipped with the automatic gearbox. Pull on either paddle and the white labeled gear indicator will illuminate orange in the speedometer cluster. At this point, all you have to do when downshifting is to press the clutch and change gears. The car does the rest, no accelerator modulation is required. It emits a prominent throttle blip and maintains the car's velocity. One thing to note when rev matching is that it's purely for performance, so when activated, downshifting the car will not slow it down. For this reason, I recommend deactivating rev matching if driving on steep grades. The 7-speed uses a smaller dual-mass flywheel and twin-disc clutch, which improves responsiveness, reduces friction, and increases shift quality, making it an absolute blast to drive. The 8-speed auto, on the other hand, appears to be a very intriguing option. Its shifting performance is said to rival a dual-clutch transmission, but combine the smoothness of a conventional torque converter automatic. In fact, Chevrolet claims that wide-open throttle upshifts are performed up to 0.08 of a second quicker than the PDK transmission in the Porsche 911. Close gear spacing keeps the LT4 V8 in its ideal power band longer and more consistently, making it a bit quicker than the manual gearbox. I hope to actually be able to drive an auto one day to really test these claims, but if it's anything like Chrysler Group's 8-speed auto in the Hellcat, which can change gears in as little as 160 milliseconds, buyers should be in for a real treat. It features 4 gear sets and 5 clutches, with compact packaging that allows it to take up the same amount of space as the Stingray's previous 6-speed auto. Advanced aluminum and magnesium construction decreased the gearbox's weight by more than 8 pounds, while reduced internal friction is said to contribute to 5% greater efficiency compared to the 6-speed. And so, we're going to flip on the bi-xenon automatic LED accented headlamps and the hazards. Both windows are fully automatic, and we'll go ahead and check out the exterior. Upon closing the door, the horn will chime a few times to let you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. This year, an all-new Z06 joins the Corvette family based on the 7th generation or C7 platform that launched last year. Now offered both as a coupe with removable carbon fiber roof panel or as a convertible, the 2015 Z06 is not only the most powerful production car ever created by General Motors, but the first Z06 to actually utilize supercharging technology. As with many cars in its class, the bodies were developed with aerodynamic properties in mind. No matter if it's regarding airflow or component cooling, the silhouette helps direct air as efficiently as possible. With the Z06, all of the Stingray's signature elements were preserved for the most part, with subtle functional changes that not only enhances vehicle dynamics, but creates its own unique style in the process. For starters, the wheel and tire package is wider than what you'll get with a Stingray. Up front, there's an additional 1.5 inches of width and an extra 2 inches in the rear, which necessitated the need for greater accommodations. Therefore, the front fenders were extended out by 2.2 inches and the rear fenders by 3.15 inches. In the rear, the Z06 retains the Stingray's tail lamp designs, only now features clear lenses. They're also pushed out further by 3 inches towards the edges of the fascia. All of this put together yields a very low and wide profile that looks like it was built for the track. The front grille, for instance, is composed of unique black mesh, specifically developed to channel air to the supercharger's intercooler heat exchanger. In fact, Chevrolet claims the mesh directs more air than it would if the grille was removed. The grille also features dedicated brake cooling ducts and wider outlets at the bottom to serve as diffusers. More ducts located in the front of the rear fender openings provide additional cooling to the rear brakes. The large hood vents serve a dual purpose. Sure, they help extract hot air from the engine bay, but they also lead to improved downforce and reduced front-end lift by allowing air to pass through the front, exit the hood, and flow over the windshield, versus being forced around and underneath the car. On the Z06 Coupe, larger air blade inlets on the rear fenders direct about 50% more air to the transmission and differential coolers compared to the Stingray. On the convertible, those ducts are located underneath the body. As with the Stingray, the Z06 has rear fascia openings, but they're larger to efficiently channel out the increased airflow. For added downforce, this car has been fitted with the available Stage 2 carbon fiber aero package, either finished in gloss black or exposed carbon fiber like you have here. Compared to the standard car, or Stage 1, it adds a larger front splitter with aviation-style winglets at the edges, a more pronounced rocker panel set, and a larger rear spoiler with fixed wicker bill. Opting for the Z07 package, amongst other things, brings similar upgrades that are far more aggressive, otherwise referred to as the Stage 3 Aero Kit, including an adjustable rear spoiler, together creating the most downforce of any production GM car to this date. This Z06 actually has a custom vinyl wrap over the rear fascia. The C7 Corvette benefits from an all-new aluminum frame, widely known for being lighter and stiffer than steel, which leads to a better handling, more agile, and safer vehicle when pushed to the limit. Previously, the C6 Corvette's chassis was primarily made of steel unless you went for the fixed-roof Z06, which was the first to extensively use aluminum in its chassis. The C7's aluminum frame is 99 pounds lighter and 22% stiffer than the previous generation Z06. Stiffness for the convertible is increased 57% and requires no mechanical changes or additional reinforcements. This was especially important when developing the new for 2015 Z06 Convertible, which practically is identical to the Coupe in all performance and capability measures. Convertible curb weight compared to the Coupe increases by a modest 58 pounds. The biggest changes were limited to accommodations for the folding soft top and repositioning of the safety belts, in addition to relocating the transmission and differential coolers to the underbody. The new aluminum frame is now designed and built in-house at GM's Bowling Green, Kentucky assembly plant. The C6 Z06 featured continuous 2mm thick hydroform frame rails, while the C7's frame is composed of 5 segments of various compositions and thicknesses ranging from 2mm to 11mm thick. The thickness is tailored by the shape of the component to optimize strength where it matters and eliminate unnecessary added weight. The outer portions are 2.4mm aluminum extrusions that are then attached to rigid cast aluminum nodes that mount up to the suspension. The middle hydroform rail is 3.8mm thick. 18 pounds were added back, however, due to the central torque tube's new steel housing that was added to decrease vibrations of the new engine's cylinder deactivation system when it converts to a V4 at cruising speeds. The 2015 Z06 is slightly larger than its predecessor, gaining 2.3 inches in length and 1.5 inches in width. Wheelbase is the same, while height remains nearly identical. The body panels are now made from a new sheet-molded composite that is lighter and firmer than previous materials. Carbon fiber also makes the standard material for both the hood and roof. For an additional cost, the removable roof can also be finished in exposed carbon fiber on the coupe. Since carbon fiber does offer less thermal expansion and movement than fiberglass or composite materials, it's able to keep a more consistent shape and add to rigidity. With the use of these lighter materials and SMC panels, the C7's body weighs 37 pounds less than last year's model. As you would expect, construction precision has also been improved, utilizing body gaps of 3mm or less. The Z06 features large, asymmetric, lightweight aluminum wheels measuring 19 by 10 inches in front and 20 by 12 inches in the rear. They're wrapped in 285/30 and 335/25 Michelin Pilot Super Sport run flat tires respectively, claimed to hold as much as 1.2 G of lateral acceleration when equipped with the optional Sport Cup 2 tires. As far as the brakes, bringing the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour takes as little as 99.6 feet thanks to 4-wheel, 2-piece slotted Brembo disc brakes. That's a little over 7 feet shorter than a Z51 equipped Stingray. The curved slots were derived from Corvette Racing, a design that's claimed to be more durable than drilled holes, which apparently had the potential to crack under hard track use. Chevrolet claims the stopping distance is the best out of any production car tested by General Motors. The discs measure a large 14.6 by 1.3 inches in front and 14.4 by 1 inch in the rear, clamped down by 6-piston and 4-piston fixed aluminum calipers respectively. Stepping up to the Z07 package adds larger carbon ceramic brakes measuring 15.5 by 1.4 inches in front and 15.3 by 1.3 inches in the rear. The carbon ceramics save a total of 23 pounds over standard rotors and have greater thermal resistance. Underneath, the Z06 features a uniquely calibrated, fully independent suspension with double wishbones, transverse-mounted composite springs, and monotube shocks, designed to withstand greater performance threshold than the standard Stingray. Aluminum makes up many of the suspension components, of course, including the control arms. The front and rear cradles are made of hollow cast aluminum rather than the previous solid units. This leads to a 25-pound decrease and a 20% increase in stiffness. Hollow lower control arms save 9 pounds, and a new aluminum rear toe link setup saves 2.4 pounds over the C6's steel links. Strategically placed underbody trays help improve aerodynamics by smoothing airflow to the rear diffuser. Overall length is 177.9 inches with a width of 77.4 inches and a height of 48.6 inches, riding on a 106.7-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight for the convertible is 3,582 pounds with an even 50-50 weight distribution between the front and rear. Replacing the naturally aspirated LS7 7-liter V8 found in the previous Z06, 2015 introduces the LT4. It's an all-new, all-aluminum supercharged 6.2-liter V8. The traditional overhead valve pushrod design still retains 2 valves per cylinder, but now benefits from a compression ratio of 10:1, direct fuel injection, cylinder deactivation, and continuously variable valve timing. The LT4 features rotocast aluminum cylinder heads that are stronger and more resistant to heat than conventional aluminum heads, and also features lightweight titanium intake valves, machined forged powder metal steel connecting rods for reduced reciprocating mass, and a lightweight aluminum balancer. The forged aluminum pistons are unique to the LT4, benefiting from stronger structure to withstand higher cylinder pressures. Stainless steel exhaust manifolds are designed to offer greater structure at higher temperatures. A dry sump lubrication system along with a dual pressure control oil pump is standard, not only allowing the engine to sit deeper in the chassis, but providing uniform oiling of vital components during demanding track use and hard cornering. A new compact 1.7-liter supercharger now spins up to 20,000 RPM, 5,000 RPM higher than the unit used on the Corvette ZR1, helping deliver 650 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 650 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM. 37% greater horsepower and 40% greater torque over the Stingray. Maximum engine speed is 6,600 RPM. The supercharger intercooler assembly is mounted inside the V between the cylinder heads, making the entire engine only 25mm higher than the Stingray's LT1 V8. In comparison, the 2015 Z06 features an additional 145 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque over its predecessor, not to mention an additional 12 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque over the ZR1. It translates to a claimed 0 to 60 time of 3.2 seconds with the manual and 2.95 seconds with the automatic. Quarter-mile times have been tested at 11.2 seconds at 127 miles an hour for the manual and 10.95 seconds at 127 miles an hour for the automatic. The Z06 requires premium fuel and features an 18.5-gallon tank. EPA estimated fuel economy ratings range between 15 miles to a gallon in the city and 22 on the highway for the manual, and 13 miles to a gallon in the city and 23 on the highway for the automatic. So far, we've talked a lot about performance and the capabilities of the Z06, but one of the essential aspects of the latest generation Corvette is the passenger compartment. Corvettes of the past were never really known for high-quality interiors. Sure, Corvette did and still does represent a tremendous value when it comes to performance, but now with the launch of the C7, it finally gets an interior that's worth writing home about. Compared to its predecessor, build quality, materials, technology, and overall comfort is on a completely different level. The majority of interior surfaces are now wrapped in either hand-stitched leather or other soft-touch materials and trimmed in accent stitching. Genuine carbon fiber is available for the dash for a race-inspired feel, and what looks like brushed aluminum is in fact the real deal. In other words, there's not a single piece of interior carried over from the C6, which gives the C7 the modern, new-age feel it so desperately needed to compete with more premium marques. Your power windows and memory seat controls are located on the door while the mirrors are on the dash. Another big leap for the C7 is passenger comfort. Chevrolet offers two different seat styles for an added measure of customizability. The GT seat like we have here is a nice blend of padding and lateral grip for everyday use. The competition seat is more race-inspired with spots to insert a racing harness, as well as having more grip under high cornering. They also utilize magnesium frames and stiffer structures to prevent flexing and bending. To make more space for the passengers, the airbags were repositioned to a separate entity on the sides of the seats rather than being integrated into the cushion. They're fully powered with adjustable lumbar. Finding a comfortable seating position is easier now than ever before, specifically with these GT seats that are a nice all-around package. They conform my body pretty well. I like the adaptive lumbar, and really just the overall look and feel. The leather feels supple and soft, there's beautiful detailing up top and down below. You have Corvette aluminum entry guards, aluminum pedals down below, as well as a power tilt telescoping steering wheel. As I briefly touched on earlier, the Z06 actually has a unique interior color theme different from the Stingray, such as the Kalahari accent portion across the dash coming down into the center console. Your convertible top and heads-up display controls are located to the left-hand side of the steering column, and you can see a little bit more of the aluminum detailing throughout the interior. Of course, with convertibles of the past, you have the waterfall motif that blends into the center console. Another cool thing I'd like to point out is the color-accented portion of this dash further accentuates the driver-oriented cockpit feel of the C7. You'll also notice that the driver and passenger side doors differ in terms of styling, again focusing everything more towards the driver, which gives each occupant a distinct environment. One of the first things you'll notice regarding the dash of the Stingray is the new instrument cluster, a combination of digital and mechanical gauges that now houses your entertainment, vehicle settings, and driver information system. It's a reconfigurable 8-inch thin-film transistor with your tach in the middle, speedometer can be found to the left, while vehicle fuel and boost pressure is to the right. Different style gauges can be configured depending on which mode you have the drive selector dialed to. Winter, Economy, and Touring have the same layout. Economy is the only setting that allows for cylinder deactivation or active fuel management. Going to Sport, you have a more defined tach with accessory gauges. It also opens up the dual mode exhaust a bit. Track has a C4-inspired hockey stick style tach with expanded redline for racing, not to mention the least restrictive exhaust setting, which you'll hear all of the differences in just a bit. I delve into the nitty-gritty details of the various drive modes and features of the instrument cluster in a couple previous C7 Stingray reviews. If you want to see those a little bit more in depth, the links can be found in the description box below. So let's go ahead and see how she sounds. First, in its standard setting. You can instantly hear the exhaust bypass valves open up as soon as you switch it into sport mode. For more of an in-depth look, I suggest checking out my previous Stingray reviews because I go into the interior electronics a whole lot more in depth, just like I do in the instrument cluster. But just as a quick overview, this Z06 has the 8-inch MyLink infotainment system that incorporates a lot of smartphone type technology, satellite radio, Bluetooth technology, and things like that. To the left-hand side, probably one of my favorite features and something to kind of impress your friends. If you press that screen button, the screen goes up and down with a padded storage compartment behind and a USB port. Very James Bond-like. I really like that, and it's pretty common with a lot of GM's newest vehicles. You have a dual-zone electronic climate control system with all of the primary controls again focused towards the driver. You do have some passenger controls including the ventilated and heated seat portions, but the temperature adjustments are located on the passenger side of the dash, in addition to an extra set of the heated and ventilated seat functions. In the center console you have a 12-volt power outlet as well as 2 cup holders. The satin black trim is standard, but the optional carbon fiber would really dress up the center console. The heads-up display is another nice piece of technology that displays all of your vital vehicle information into customizable displays beamed up onto the windshield. The windshield frame is wrapped out of soft touch material and you have LED interior illumination, not to mention the beautiful, frameless, kind of retro-inspired rearview mirror that incorporates your OnStar controls. Cargo space for the Corvette has always been pretty good. Open up the hatch and you'll find around 15 cubic feet of cargo space in the Coupe model. Space for the convertible though drops to 10 cubic feet for the top storage. It's also illuminated and has a 12-volt power outlet. An interesting fact, I'm not sure if it still applies to the convertible or just the Coupe, but Chevrolet has implemented the use of shape metal alloys to perform various functions. For example, the heat generated by the cargo lamps causes a metal alloy wire to alter its shape, thus opening a pressure release valve to make closing the trunk easier. After its shutter returns to normal form and the flap closes. The passenger seat features the same power adjustments that you find in the driver's seat, including the adjustable lumbar. The glove box down below, electronically actuated, offers a modest amount of space, and it's also lined in felt. The 7th generation Stingray is by far the most innovative Corvette yet. It launches the nameplate back up the ranks of the competitive sports car segment. With a fantastic value for your dollar, considering the engineering, performance, and build, it's still one of the best high-performance bargains you can buy. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.